Hello, welcome, how are you? I keep not putting my mic in at the moment, so I do apologise if the sound quality is not... I've got a spot there. Oh, whatever, I think it's that time of year, isn't it? Time of year for everything, really. I hope you're okay, because I know, yeah, things could be hitting you physically, health-wise at this time of year, and also just generally, we've just had the full moon. I couldn't believe it, again, another full moon. It come around really fast this time, didn't it? Happy solstice, it's the winter solstice as well. So, yeah, longest night, the most dark. So we're going to enter into the bringing back in the light. So at the moment, you know, we've been going through the death, really. The death of the year, you know, and the death symbolic as we go into the darkness, which obviously is the darkest night tonight. It's been the, you know, the death of anything that you're ending, really. Anything you're wanting to let go of from this year. But let's face it, it's not really about the year, is it? It's about our own energy, our own patterns. What is it in our karmic patterns we want to let go of? You know, death of the ego. If you watch Eckhart Tolle, he talks about the death of the ego, die before you die. And it just basically means killing off the mind activity so that we can become the true consciousness, the true self. Because in the consciousness, there is no mind activity. And that is basically the true self. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be the true self than an ego identity, the false self, which is full of mind activity, ruminations, projections. Yeah, I mean, some people say they need their ego. I disagree. Some people say the ego is the personality. Well, yes, if you want to call it that, it is the personality. It's the fake personality. It's the condition. It's the fake personality is a result of conditioning. You know, whether you've chosen to rebel your conditioning or whether you've chosen to succumb to your conditioning, your personality is your ego persona, which is a reaction to your conditioning and your experiences. And it's not really who you are. The consciousness, your true spirit within here is who you are. And there's no mind activity in there. It's just peace. It's just peace. And that's what really this channel is about embracing that and getting back to that. And a lot of the time relationships help us learn to notice our ego mind when our ego mind is very triggered by our relationships. And particularly twin flame is probably the most triggering relationship you can ever have to trigger you, because it's just the most intense freaking connection, because you're supposed to be the same soul split in half, so you're just completely the same person. It's ridiculous, and it's very jarring, it's very intense. So let's go into this reading. You know, that's why we do the twin flames and the soulmate stuff on this channel, the relationship stuff, because it is the most triggering thing, generally speaking, apart from obviously other situations can trigger, obviously, like money, health and things like that, and I do try to do the health, wealth and abundance readings, but I have to admit I'm not been very good at that lately, because I've just been launching this twin flame soulmate thing, so I'm just trying to get into a pattern with it all and figure it out. So it'll all come, but the health, wealth and abundance is important, because that's more to do with our own healing and our own energy. The twin flame and the soulmate is helping you to look at, okay, how is this person, how am I so connected to them? How am I so attached, and why does it trigger me so much? And what is this about my own energy and what I need to heal in myself, you know? And then if I do a live, that's the twin flame soulmate support. And that's really about supporting you. And I'm even thinking of calling it twin flame soulmate recovery, because I do think that ultimately we want to recover from these connections, because we often get very confused about them and they're triggering us so much, and we can't understand what the message is. We don't understand what we're supposed to do. And it really is about ultimately connecting back with self. And so I might call the live sessions the recovery sessions for people who are basically saying, I've had enough. I've had enough of my soulmate or my twin flame. I've been triggered enough, and now I really, really want to move on from this connection because I've really had enough. And that's what that live session's going to be about. But I know I've been a bit naughty, and I don't tend to do many live sessions because once I've done the main readings for the day, I've either got customers or I'm doing my own inner work. And I do really value my own inner work because that's what's making this channel grow. That's what's making this channel hopefully a lot more deeper than what you're going to find on other channels. Because most readers are just giving you a tarot reading. They're just giving you a fortune tell, and they're not really helping you understand the energy. They're not really helping you understand how to become more enlightened, to either make these connections work or to liberate yourself out of them, you know, because ultimately they can keep you trapped in samsara and suffering. So, you know, let's see what we get here. We're gonna do the twin flame. We're gonna see what twin flame reading is. Sending you lots of love across Gaia. That was a long introduction, but for some reason I just felt like to do it. I suppose just to clarify it really, because I'm changing it slightly with the twin flame soulmate situation. But I do always say, if you feel like I'm talking about someone different and it doesn't feel like a twin flame or a soulmate, it could be a family member, it could be a friend. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, because those types of attachments or relationships can, depending on how you see it, if you see it as an attachment or see it as a relationship, I like to say use the word connection. They can be equally as triggering, you know. Anyway, let's see. Tarot, please show me what's going on for the twin flame connection. For, you know, because you might have a soulmate and you might have a twin flame, and you might know the difference between the two, and this is going to be about your twin flame. Okay, twin flame, they're not very emotionally content at the moment. They've got the 10 of Cups, okay, first card to come out, 10 of Cups reversed. They're not emotionally content. So it's funny really, they're on a funny journey right now. Very mixed up feelings at the moment. They're not overly happy with their relationship, okay, if they're in a relationship or not, their relationship life, they're not very happy with it. Now, they are learning a bit more mastery of their emotions, and what they really want to do is they do really want to move forward into a more healthy situation. Okay, they do want a better, healthier life in terms of their emotional well-being. But the trouble is they've got the Sun card reversed. So this person is suffering with a bit of depression. They tend to tip into negative thought patterns quite easily when it comes to relationships. And really, the tarot's saying they could be on the verge of a new beginning, but they're not ready. They're just not ready. Now, they've got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, which basically suggests that what they really need to do is focus on themselves. They really don't need to be in a relationship right now. They would be much better off focusing on themselves, on their own journey back to self, discovering the spirit of who they are. Because your twin flame has basically built up a persona, and that persona is the ego persona that I was talking about at the beginning, you know, and it's a result of their conditioning as a child. They had quite harsh conditioning as a child, and to survive that, they created this persona, which you know all about. I mean, I know anyone that watches this reading, you already know this stuff anyway, but it's just reminding yourself that what you see in them is just a result of their conditioned persona. You can see beyond that. You can see, the, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, the transcendental, the transcendent part of the person. You can see the essence of them. But unfortunately, there's a lot of ego and pain body around your twin flame, and it's their result of their conditioning, and they've created that persona to survive, and they keep falling back into it. They want to get more mastery of their emotions. They want to get themselves in a healthier place, which is positive, but then they slip back down all the time. And the tarot is saying they really would be better off not in a relationship, not in a connection, but just focusing on themselves right now, and starting to learn what's underneath my ego persona, what's underneath this self-created identity, this role that I play. Eckhart Tolle calls it the temporary roles that we play. What's underneath that? This is what this person would be really benefiting from discovering. Oh dear. Now, they are going to stabilise, believe it or not. When it comes to relationships, I'll tell you something that's going to interest you, right? When it comes to relationships, this person actually finds it quite hard to let go. I think they find it hard to let go of you, and they find it hard to let go of their exes. They find it hard. They find it hard to do deep connections, but then what happens is they like to keep people in their life, okay? So people do that, right, because it blocks intimacy, you know, because when you've got lots of different people you talk to, you can have shallow connections. They're not very meaningful connections. You're not going very deep with one person. You're doing more shallow connections, and that's what I feel this person tends to do, because they're operating from their ego persona, and the ego is never going to go that deep, and it feels very comfortable with these more shallow. So let's have lots of different connections rather than one. So they hold on to you, but then they may hold on to other people as well. And I just want to say that. I know you might not like that. Now, well, the thing is, they are making a decision here at the moment to move forward into more mastery of self, and they want to move forward. I don't think, ideally, they don't really want to keep going back into the past, because they've got here the Empress card, which is the new beginning. Now, it may be that they are the feminine that's ready for a new beginning, or it may be that they are the masculine looking to the feminine and recognising how beautiful this person is, okay? And it's like that. Ultimately, what the tarot here is saying is your twin flame would ideally like a new beginning at the moment. I think this person is really starting to realise how unfulfilled they've been, and that actually by holding on to lots of different connections, it's not really fulfilling them. So there's some kind of realisation going on here. They want to move into a more healthy frame of mind, a more healthy timeline, and King of Pentacles energy is really, really good. You know, this person is basically saying, I want stability. I'm starting to find more stability in myself, and this is ultimately what I want, and I'm only going to find that if I make more healthy choices. So there's definitely a turning point happening here for this person. Now, like I said, they can tend to slip back into old patterns and negative mind patterns that they have. I think this person's got a lot of fear about intimacy and relationships, and they can slip back into a more sexual energy and a more unpredictable risk-taking energy, which can take them back into contacting different people or being a bit sexual with you rather than actually, you know, being serious with you, okay? Now, the tarot's saying here that, you know, if they can focus more on themselves rather than relationships or connections, they're going to find much more stability here inside themselves. Now, it may be slow progress, but it will be genuine progress, and it will be worth their while. Let's see what happens next. It's quite interesting. Okay, so what we've got here is the Tower card. Boom. Okay, yeah, I don't think this is working. I don't think this is working, and I think they're starting to realise that having lots of different connections isn't actually working for them at all, which is quite funny, really. That's my ego finding that quite funny. My consciousness wouldn't really care, but yeah, it's like, boom, you know, this is not working. Having lots of different connections is not working. Perhaps some of the people that they're communicating with are just not abiding it and not interested. That people aren't stupid. You know, people are not stupid, and they can tell when someone's talking to multiple people. And, you know, most people are just not going to like that. You know, so there could be a real explosion here happening for this twin flame. That someone, or maybe more than one person, is not happy that they're talking to lots of different people. Because it does interfere with, there's no intimacy there, you know, and it's not working. And I think even your twin flame may realise, like, oh, this isn't really working anymore. I'm gonna have to change my game plan. You know, I'm gonna have to get more mastery over this and move forward and really look towards a more solid person and be more solid in myself about, you know, what is it I really want from my relationship life, have a new beginning, have a much more authentic, more solid, more beautiful timeline, rather than this old timeline that's just all over the place. And this is about them opening up and being a bit more honest. So you may find your twin flame is starting to be more honest with you or with somebody else. They may surprise you. But we'll have a look. We'll keep looking at what goes on here. I mean, this is unbelievable. I do think they're starting to have some kind of awakening, and it's not something I would expect to see from the twin flame at the moment. Saying that, I have been shown that the twin flame's been thinking about things. I have been shown that twin flame's been thinking that they've made a mistake, and actually they may have made poor judgments in terms of their relationships. I have been shown that they've been tentatively exploring the idea that they could have been a bit rash about a decision they made, ending things with you. Okay, and here we've got, you know, they want to make more healthy decisions. They want to become more solid in themselves and think about long-term solid foundation. They want a long-term relationship. They're starting to wake up to the benefits of what a long-term relationship would do for them, how much more solid and stable they feel. Going in the old ego persona that they've been in, again, it's a pattern they're used to. It's something their ego thrives on. They like the attention from lots of different people. They like the fact they don't have to get too deep with any one person. But I think what they're realising is other people don't like it, or it doesn't always work according to the plan that they think they have. So they're starting to open up a bit more to themselves and realise, actually, maybe what I really do want is something more solid, more real. You know, and that I would benefit. It would actually make their health, because I don't think this person's health is that great, either physically or emotionally, mentally. You know, I think they do suffer quite badly with, I think they trigger quite badly. Their triggers are very intense, and they sort of have to really retreat into themselves, because that can be very intense for them. Now, going forward, like I said, it's like they can kind of slip back into their depression and their old habits by being a bit overly sexual or just like unpredictable, unreliable. But then they're getting the Six of Wands energy. It's a bit of an ego energy, I'll be honest with you. That is a bit ego. It can signify the marriage card, and it can signify success, but it can also be ego, because this person's doing quite well in the external reality. This is the trouble. I think they keep slipping back into this old persona because in the past it has worked for them, and they kind of always just think, well, if I just act like this, it's going to work for me, and I get attention from people if I play this role, whatever that role is. I mean, let's face it, this is a collective reading, so I'm talking about a lot of different twin flames here, and they're all going to have their own types of roles that they play, you know. So I won't even suggest what type of role that might be, but you will know the type of ego identity role that they play. Okay, and so anyway, it may be that the tarot's saying they start to slip back into ego, even though they know and they've been thinking what they really want is this more healthy long-term thing. Now the tarot is basically saying that they are going to focus more on themselves, and they are going to make a commitment to growth, and that they are going to actually make the right decision. Two of Wands, they're going to get more in alignment. So I'm interested what that's about, that Six of Wands, the King of Wands. Let's have a look. Okay, so basically they're going to realise, what the tarot is saying is your twin flame's going to realise the old patterns are not working. The old routine that they've had of how they connect to different people, of how they pull back from intimacy and then they go back in and they're going to realise it's not really working, and they start to move forward here. Now, they realise they sort of have to open up because they don't want to lose something, and there's something they could lose, which they don't really want to lose. So you may get contact from your twin flame, or you may find that they are reaching out to somebody because they realise, oh, I don't want to lose this connection that could actually be really real, this connection that could actually be really good for me, because this is their connection with you is really good for them, and they're either talking to you about it or they're talking to somebody else about you, and they're like, oh, you know, actually when I'm with this you know, it doesn't fit my ego role because my ego wants me to do this, but when I'm with this person I definitely feel more healthy and I know it's more solid and real. Now, the tarot is unfortunately showing that they've got a lot of mind activity, and they're allowing themselves to ruminate too much over you and not really make a decision. So this is where I told you at the beginning, this is where the ego really gets us hooked in, because it will make us overthink everything way too much, and we're all guilty of it. If we've got a twin flame that really gets caught up in their own head and their own identity, it's a real clear mirror that we're doing the same. Okay, so we must be mindful not to point the finger at our twin flame, but also realise that this is trying to show me what I'm like. You know, my mind activity has been horrendous the last 2.5 years. Horrendous. It's only just starting to calm down now, you know. I'm very grateful it's starting to calm down, but it only calms down through the pure diligence and vigilance, not allowing your mind to keep playing with you. You know, you can't allow it because it's not healthy, you know, and unfortunately this is what your twin flame's doing. It's not healthy activity that they keep ruminating and thinking, overthinking their connection with you, and then they're confusing themselves again. Now, the thing is, what will happen is they're going to sort of like feel a bit depressed and start falling back into their old patterns of like flirting a bit. Maybe, you know, it's around Yule, Christmas, whatever you call it. And they may sort of boost themselves back up a bit, feeling like, oh yeah, you know, I'm checking in with everyone over Christmas and, you know, it feels good and da-da-da. But deep down, it's actually breaking their back, because deep down they know they're not really happy with their relationship life. You know, they may even have a new partner, but I don't think they're 100% happy with this partner. I want to say that. They may be single, and they may be giving you the impression that they're happy being single, but I don't think they are. They've got connections with different people, and it boosts them up for a momentary period of time, but it's not, you see, because it's ego, and the ego will never ever be happy with what it gets. Every pleasure the ego gets is a momentary thing, and it's temporary, and then the ego ends up going back into lack and wanting more. And I think this is where they've kind of got to breaking point with their ego now, and they're realising it's not working. It's not working, and they need to learn to connect with themselves. The tarot says if they do this, they're going to make good progress and good growth, and they're going to make some good decisions. But I don't think they're going to tell you what they're doing. I think your twin flame is going to be very private about what they're doing. I think what they're doing is they're starting to hatch a plan, and they're starting to realise what's not fulfilling them, and they're starting to awaken to the fact that this old game is not going for them no more. Some of you could hear from your twin flame, or some of you may not, but I'm telling you, they are starting to realise that falling back into the old routine, it's not, they're never happy. I can tell you now, your twin flame is never happy, and not happy for long. And they're gonna just basically, yeah, they're gonna realise, but they're not gonna tell anyone, because they do have shame. Your twin flame's got a lot of shame, and that's why they don't open up to you about all of this. Secret admirer. Okay, so your twin flame is a secret admirer. They do still think about you. I don't want you to focus on your twin flame at all. I really don't. But I'm just telling you what I'm getting shown in the tarot. What I want you to do is focus on yourself. Okay, you've actually got here, your spirit guides are supporting you with to be witty, to have wit about you. You know, have a sharp mind, you know, be on the ball, be vigilant. Don't get pulled back into this connection. Your twin flame is all over the place, you know, and the reason why you've been so drawn to them is obviously because they are your twin flame, but at the time you were drawn together, you were all over the place and you were just mirrors to each other. But you've done so much growth, you've done so much work on yourself, and it's time to say, no, I'm not going to allow my mind to keep thinking about my twin flame all the time. Okay, it's a sign that I'm in separation from self, and this is now about the journey back to self and you regaining all your power. And that's where I think your spirit guides want you to be. Be clever, you know, have your head screwed on and really focus on yourself at the moment. I'm telling you, it's the best thing you can do. And if you need support, I'm here. You can book in with me, you know, and we can talk a bit about how do you do this, because it's really important. Because once you shut off the mind activity to do with your twin flame, you know, you're on the road to connecting with self, and that's how you're going to feel peace. You know, your twin flame at the moment is not going to bring you peace because they're not in a peaceful place. But they are starting to awaken, and it is quite interesting. I do find it interesting to see what's going on with them, you know, and they're definitely not coping as well as they're trying to show. So anyway, that's the message. I love you loads, and if you do want to book in, like I said, I'm going to put all the information below. I'm here, and yeah, thanks for subscribing. I'm trying to build the channel up to 3,000 subscribers. I have got a little way to go, but that's my next goal. And thanks for the support, and yeah, just sending you lots of love for you, really. Lots of love, and just relax and, you know, look after yourself. Peace.